kind of thinking. I'm sitting kind of up, can't sleep, and I'm thinking to myself, our government and just the world itself, instead of giving you an extra hand up, taking care of you, worrying about your vision, your hearing, they say health, oh, we'll give you insurance. That's not really actually, uh, caring about specific things that actually would make us get along a lot better. If you can hear what the person is saying, if you can see what the person is pointing at or, you know, uh, trying to look at, and they don't give you housing either. I've been big on that for the last couple months now. It's like our governments around the world, they don't care about the housing. They don't even care about you seeing what the hell's going on in the world or hearing what's going on in the world. They rather have you block everything out, block them out. Why do we pay them attention for? Because, they'll arrest us and these cops are just willing to take money because they don't make cops wear glasses neither or have hearing aids. They just tell this guy if he even can hear or see what's going on, that's the guy. Their vision's not like, oh, that's not the guy, but it's some other man that's pointing this out. It's some other man that's saying, that's the guy that did it. But, you know, it's 50-50 if they even got the right guy for the crime nowadays. Be real, I mean, you can get picked out of a marked car or, your own car and say you were hit for trespassing or something. Where are you trespassing from? This is Earth. None of us said, Mom, you know, get your uterus and pick us. Your dad wasn't like, the sperm is going to pick, Nathan, Anthony. He's going to pick Gerard or Samson. Hercules. It's like, where do they get off when they have no care for us? Even like this has gone on like back in the day for way too long. They don't care if you can see. They don't care if you can hear. They ain't giving you a place to live neither. Why do we put up with this aggravation by the authorities? The authorities just want us to be lower than they are, belittle us, treat us stupid, ignorant, confuse us, and think that's okay. How is that okay to confuse us and belittle us all the time and be less than they are? They don't want us thinking and reading at the same level. God forbid if we read at the same level on the planet and we were taught, the same way. The bullies, they wouldn't win. The bullies, the spoiled, rotten kids that, get away with everything because they were bullying their mom and dad around, God forbid, it might be equal if we got rid of the bullies starting back at school. Or we always have somebody putting somebody down and saying, "Man, are you doing okay today? I mean, it's is your are you able to see? Can you hear me? That's like the first thing you should be telling people, cops. Can you see me good? And the cops should. I think I can see him good. The cops should be saying, well, I can. What happened to describing somebody before they were arresting people, like the artists. We don't even give those people jobs. A lot of those people that can just describe somebody and pencil them down perfectly because they got 20/20 vision, and a lot of people don't have 20/20 vision. They became comic book strip writers instead of police artists. It's like all that stuff you see on CSI and all those shows. Those are super cops because these cops ain't doing it. This government's not doing that. We've seen on MacGyver. Some of that shit's true, but no, we don't have secret agents. That's all make believe shit. 007, because our government ain't handling stuff like that. They ain't smooth like that. They give a shit less about you or where you come from, or how you're doing, or if you can understand what the hell they're going on. You can be cognitive, or they can just say, "Oh, he's not cognitive." That's basically it. They don't, and the only people that can really justify saying, you know, he was cognitive on arrest, they pulled him for nothing, is your family. That's the only one. If you have backup, so you know, yeah, they care if you have an STD. They don't want that passed around because everybody wants to fuck everybody over. They want to fuck people and fuck them over in this country. All they care about is you having a kid and procreating. And so this shit continues to happen, and it's confusing, and the whole world's all fucked up. Thank you. Stop having sex so much. You wouldn't get STDs if you weren't fucking everybody on the planet.